Good evening. I just wanted to share some things about the black market organ trade. Um, excuse me. I've been having a lot of, well, not really a lot, but I've been having some people comment, um, basically just asking why would someone want to harvest someone's organs who has been drugged or who has been drinking, or any type of drug use, anything that might have the organs contaminated. Well, to answer that, that's what happens, when you're doing things in the black market. It's not illegal and it's not all perfect and everything's not technical. Because the people that are selling in the black market, they're not doing it just because they care. They're doing it for money. That's why they're doing it illegally. Now some people ask, what is the black market organ trade? Well, the black market organ trade is when you're harvesting organs illegally, which could fall under a few different categories. You could kill someone and get the organs. You could, illegally obtain the body or have the body, for say, like in a funeral home, per se, and they take the organs out and use the organs and sell them without the family's consent or without going through the legal donor process. So I want you guys to stay tuned because I do have I have some things to show you in a minute. But first, I just want to go over a little bit of things about the black market organ trade, just so you know how lucrative the market is, and also how in high demand it is. And then maybe you could understand it a little more from then on. I got this information from decodedscience.com. The last time that this website was updated was on March 23rd, 2016. But anyways, to start off with, the organ harvesting has been tied to human trafficking, and it has become a major illegal business in the 21st century. People will pay a lot of money for kidneys, hearts, or hips. Currently, there are 121,333 people waiting for an organ transplant. And out of all those people, 100,402 are waiting on kidneys. Now, in 2015, there were only 30,970 legal transplants performed. So, anybody else over that number that got organs, they did it illegally. Just a few statistics here. Well, here's one statistic. In 1986 to 2006, 16,800 families stated their family members' body parts were sold for $6 million. And then here's a couple instances that have happened in the U.S. Where people have gotten killed for their organs. In 2012, Vance Anderson was 51 years old, living in Philly. He died from a lung condition in the hospital, which was Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. When his mother went to claim his body, he was missing his eyes, heart, pancreas, and brain. The hospital said they were donated for education, but the family never consented to any of that. Or they didn't have any knowledge of it either. In 2013, Kendrick Johnson, a 17-year-old student in Georgia, was found dead and inside of a mat in the gym. He was inside of an exercise mat or a gym mat, rolled in there. When the autopsy was performed, it was ruled as an accident. But then the parents requested a second autopsy, and that revealed his body was stuffed with newspapers, and he was missing all of his internal organs, lungs, liver, and brain. And then in 2014, Ryan Singleton was a 24-year-old male, also from Georgia, but he moved to California to become an actor. He was discovered dead in Death Valley. What a coincidence. His eyes, heart, lung, and liver and kidney were missing. Detectives said a wild animal must have eaten them. Yeah, right. And then in 2015, Nicholas Rodriguez was 24 years old. He was an inmate at a California state prison. He was found after a 15-hour prison riot, and he was in the shower next to his cell, stuffed in a garbage can. When they found him, he was almost severed in half, and he was missing his chest and abdominal organs. This happened in a medium security prison with surveillance. And then it also goes to say that anyone caught selling or buying through the black market will receive jail and a $50,000 fine. Okay, well, jail, they're already prepared for that. And the $50,000 fine isn't much to them anyways, because the amount that they're selling the organs for are unreal. I believe I read that on one thing that one of the organs sometimes costs anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 for a kidney. And, you know, people that have money, they'll definitely pay that. Now, I want to show you a few things, okay, because right now we have the Kenneka Jenkins case going on. Now, you know, some people say that she just was drunk and she was drugged or she was high and she just walked into this abandoned kitchen and found her way into a freezer and got stuck in there and froze to death. Well, if you don't want to think about it, you know, then yes, I guess it could sound logical, you know, but not from my standpoint. That doesn't sound logical at all. It sounds ridiculous to me. You know, and there had to be a reason why she was in that freezer. And going back to the owner of the hotel, the owners of this hotel, they also own research, they own a research center which does the organ harvesting. They also own a crematory, and lots of other things. And the owner of the hotel, who owns the organ harvesting bank, his sister she's one of the top organ surgeons, organ transplant surgeons. So, you know, there's a lot of connections there, you know, which is why there's drawing a lot of speculation, because it's just odd that someone just goes into a freezer, nobody finds her, then there's a whole mix-up of who found her and when, and then, you know, it's a lot of sketchy stuff going on with the evidence that they didn't even want to turn over to the police or to the mother to begin with. Now, I'm going to show you guys some of these, some of the proof that I've come up with as far as this stuff. Now, real quick, you know, a lot of people have been asking for the organ harvesting. Why would her body be frozen? Because the organs are supposed to be fresh out of the body, and they only have a certain, you know, time. They only have a certain time till they aren't good anymore. Well, look at this. Right here. How deep frozen organs could spell the end of transplant waiting list. Now, they have actually done this before, and this is what they are studying, and they're trying to successfully be able to freeze the organs, so that way, you know, that way we can have more organs, so when somebody needs a kidney, they don't have to wait on someone to die. They'll already have it, and they can put it in us, and, you know, that's how it goes. But it says right here, they have successfully transplanted frozen organs in animals up to 3 months later, and the breakthrough could one day spell the end of transplant waiting list. They have done it, okay? They have done it. And for these people to have not just an organ bank, but they have a research center. This is what they do. They research. They're scientists, and this is what they're doing. So, you know, her body could have been used for many different reasons. Maybe they wanted her organs. Who's to say they didn't already get them? You know, nobody said that you know, her whole body was just thrown in there and nothing was taken out. Nobody knows that, because even the mother and the sister don't even know that, because they didn't even get to see her neck down. But just in case that was the case, if she did get in there and, you know, whole and freeze, then here you go, right here. It tells you right here that they have been successful in doing this through their research. So, you know, there's ways to do everything, and that's why they get cadavers, which are people who have died, so they can run, you know, they can research them and run tests and stuff like that. Now here's another one right here that talks about the same thing, about the freezing organs. Let's see, this right here speaks about, okay, yeah, so like you usually only have about 4 hours for your heart and lungs, 8 to 12 for your liver, intestines, and pancreas, and 36 hours for your kidneys. But, you know, like right here, it even says the same thing. Scientists have made great progress in freezing tissue and organs. And these people, at the organ bank, they do organs and tissues at biological research. But they haven't yet figured out a way to safely thaw them out yet. Okay? Which could mean, like I just said, they get cadavers to run tests or to be able to salvage whatever they can. And then this right here, this goes on just the same things that I've been trying to show you guys. I'm just going to refresh you on this video for the ones that haven't seen my other videos. But this right here speaks about this actual hotel owner, okay, for Kenneka Jenkins in Rosemont. He's the owner of the Crown Plaza, and they have, like I said, they do own a crematory, and they also own biological research, which is the organ harvesting bank, and that is also located in Rosemont Village, which is in the same building as the mayor and I believe the sheriff's department, maybe. But see this right here, they've been busted. They have been busted years ago. They have been raided by the FBI. And they have been caught with lots of illegal bodies. Okay, let me show you a couple of things right here if I can go down. Okay, let's see right here. Yep, see, the businesses dismembered the bodies of the deceased relatives and illegally sold their body parts. Okay, there was a lawsuit. They have done it in Arizona and in Illinois. Biological Resource Center of Illinois and its Arizona counterpart, Cremation Services. So basically what these people were doing is they were taking bodies that were coming into their crematory, and they were taking the organs out before they were to be cremated, and organs and tissues, and then they would cremate the remains and give that to the families. I'm going to put these links at the bottom of my video, so if anybody wants to check them out, that way they'll be you know, they'll be accessible to you. But it says right here that the families were seeking at least $50,000 in damages. They have received human remains from various companies, people who have donated their relatives' bodies for scientific purposes. This is crazy, you know, and it's just sick, you know, because some people have, it's one thing to, you know, get organs legally because that's with their consent. I can't imagine just doing this illegally. It's crazy. Okay, now this one right here, I want you guys to look at. This was from, this was from Cook County. I don't know if this was in Arizona or Chicago. Not really too, I mean, or in Illinois. Not really too sure. Not sure where that is. But this also has to do with the same building. Okay. Orthopedic Learning Center in Rosemont is a bioskills lab which uses cadaver parts for surgeon training. Unregulated cadaver parts industry helped build Rosemont's reputation for surgical training. The FBI raided the company's Schiller Park crematorium, which they alleged was the source of more than 1,000 dismembered human body parts seized in raids in Arizona and Detroit a year earlier. That's right, Detroit also, yes. They were, let's see, right here, they were selling dissected human cadavers, which human cadavers is a dead body, which can be worth from $10,000 to $100,000 if cut up and sold. The company also, they fraudulently trafficked diseased human body parts from donors with HIV, hepatitis, MRSA, and sepsis. And tell me how sick that is. You know, that's just crazy. So it basically shows you these people they don't care. They're not doing this because someone needs an organ to live. They're doing it only for money. They're not testing the organs. And for someone to put something in someone that could give their body a disease and kill them, there's really no difference than going and killing someone and taking their organs and selling their organs illegally. It's the same thing. You're taking a life. Either way, you're taking a life, whether you're taking it from the beginning or giving them a contaminated organ and taking their life like that. But right here, it says there is an enormous demand for other body tissues and parts that fall outside of the well-regulated organ transplantation system. And they wrote that in a search warrant affidavit, basically saying, there's more than, people need more than what a normal donor will give. It's just crazy. You guys really need to read these things right here. This is just insane. And then after this, they moved into a new building, $10 million building. Of course they had to move. They had to move so that way they could, get away from, get off the heat, get the heat off of them. That's just insane. I want you guys to read this stuff though, because especially the ones that have a lot of questions, the ones that think this stuff could not go on, it goes on. People die like this all the time, and that doesn't mean that we have to know about it. There's a lot of things that go on in this world that are unsolved or that people don't even know of at all. There's a lot of people that wander the streets that may be homeless, or addicted to drugs, and maybe their families have pushed away from them. A lot of people that are in situations like that, those are targeted people. People just like a serial killer or a rapist. A lot of people take people like this and do things with them or to them because they know that the chances of someone finding out are slim to none. If nobody is in contact with you, or if you're known to disappear, and you're living a life on the streets, which means, you could up and disappear at any moment. Nobody, really not a lot of people are going to come look for you. They're not going to push the issue because this is the normal behavior for that person. So, I hope that these facts, I hope they answer a lot of questions because, it's a very tricky thing when you're talking about organ donor and organ trading in the black market and the killing or something that's legally done. It's a very sticky situation because a lot of people don't like to discuss it. And a lot of people just like don't like to discuss it because they don't like to admit that this is something that's really going on in the world. And it's a bigger problem than what we realize. You know, it's because you don't hear about it all the time. But like I said, you know, if someone doesn't know, or if someone's missing for years, or, you know, people go missing all the time. Adults, children, men, women, it doesn't matter. People go missing every day. And some people are never found. A lot of people are never found. They don't find bones. They don't find remains. They don't find any trace of this person for 20, 30 years. And then that's it. Like, you never hear about it again. And a lot of it is because of things like this. You know, a lot. And like, you know, it said that, you know, the black market organ trade and human trafficking, they sort of go hand in hand on a lot of areas, because, you know, you have people human trafficking for many different reasons. But the ones that are, you know, kidnapping people, kidnapping kids or adults or whatever, and you don't hear from them again, a lot of times, you know, it could be for this, you know. So, you know, trying to keep an open mind with all of this, and you know, see how you think that this fits into the Kenneka Jenkins case. Because personally, I feel like it plays a big major part in her death. You know, and if it doesn't play any part in her death, it definitely plays a major part as to why she was in that freezer and what either happened to her or what was going to happen to her. So, you know, the ones that did have questions, I hope this helps you out a little bit. And if you have any more, feel free to ask. And until I get back on, you guys have a great night.